Hi, welcome to Spring Drive CAD. I'm Tom Brennan, and what we're going to be doing today is taking another tour de force into some of the wonderful things you can do with AutoCAD. So, a lot of times, what I'm teaching on these things are more or less kind of beginner type things, the basics, the foundational type stuff, which is great. I love to do that. I just did, I teach this novice class. It's 5 days long, and it's really, really popular. I've taught it throughout the United States and Canada, and I found that the extra couple days made all the difference. When I was teaching my high school students, made all the difference in the world. So that's something that I love to do. But I also like to do some of the more, more higher end type stuff. And so today I'm going to be talking about something that is actually called attributes. Now, you might have heard of these or you might not have. You may have seen these. Like a lot of times what will happen is when you start an AutoCAD drawing and you start it for the first time, a lot of times when you go into one of the layouts, you'll have a title block. And when you click on the title block, it'll pop up and actually ask you for different things like the number of the drawing and the name of the drawing and who drafted it and so forth. Well, when you see that, those are known as attributes. Maybe you haven't seen these, but what you have is with AutoCAD, you have the ability to draw with computer aided drafting. So yeah, you can draft stuff. So let's say you want to go ahead and draw. You want to draw an iPhone, you can go ahead and do that. You can go ahead and draw an iPhone and you can go ahead and make that happen. And it works out great and you can manufacture it, whatever might be done. Or a floor plan or a civil plan. Any of those kind of things can be done with AutoCAD. But what I want to get to in this particular situation is something where when you're using AutoCAD, a lot of times people who use AutoCAD also use it to track items. Okay, they can actually track items. Now, what does that mean? Well, what this means is one of the things that I did in a previous career, well, I still do it to some degree, is we actually tracked the square footage of rooms for clients. Okay. And so what that would mean is you'd actually have a polyline that actually is put into your floor plan. You have a floor plan, then each particular room will have a polyline that defines it. Well, then those polylines, they track a square footage, and that square footage is then kept track of in a database, a room database. And you'd have the room number, the room name, the square footage, and maybe some other things such as a department and whatever. So that's the kind of thing you can do with AutoCAD. It's all built in. You don't have to do anything special. And then you can export that out to a database, or you can do something else, track it in an Excel spreadsheet. You can actually even put a table right in AutoCAD. So that's what we're looking at today is attributes. So let me show you how this works. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen. And when I share my screen, what I want to do is I'm going to grab this here and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share this. And I think you guys should be seeing this right now. I think you should. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you the end result, and then we'll take it from there. So I'm here in AutoCAD. This is the end result. This is actually a listing of different elements that you can have available in AutoCAD. This is column with data. That's what we have right there. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to back out of here a little bit. Just going to undo a few times. And get back to the beginning of this right here, okay? Because I did that before. Just going to get out of this and kind of move back from here. So I'm just going to go back to here. So what I've got right here is a drawing. And this drawing represents a floor plan. And the floor plan is essentially a 400-foot by 200-foot structure. And what I did is I put in purple lines that actually represent the grid lines. And the grid lines are every 20 feet. Now, what the goal is right here is to put in columns and to put the columns in place, but have the columns also report back three different fields of information. And those fields are going to be the number of the column and the type of column and the length. So we're going to track those three things. So to do this, you always start with a block. Now this is just a simple block that I've got right here in AutoCAD. So I'm going to click on this and take and bring it over here and drop it right there. Now when I bring that in, it looks like this, just like a little I-beam, nothing too tricky. And oh, by the way, I've also attached a drawing for you to use. So everything I'm doing right now, if you look down in the comments, by the way, please like and subscribe. You're going to see this, and then what you're going to be able to do is take that column and just use it just like I am right now. So here's what we're going to do now. I'm going to go over here, and what I want to do is I want to attach data tags known as attributes. So to do this, I go to the old @def command, define attributes. So I'm going to click on define attributes. I'm going to bring this in here, and it says, what do you want your first tag to be? Now, the tag is essentially, if you think about it, if it was an Excel spreadsheet, these would be the column headings, okay? So this one, I'm just going to say number, like that. And then the next thing you have is a prompt. So when this shows up, what you want people to see. And I'm just going to go, I just do this number with a question mark because, hey, what enter the number kind of a thing. And then you can do some other things with it. We're going to keep this real simple, but I'm going to choose OK. And I'm going to going to drop it right there. Boom, just like that. So I went ahead and I chose number. So I've got that right there. That's my first attribute, my first data tag. Now, just going to press my enter key again. And the next one I'm going to call type. And type. And then the prompt's going to be type with a question mark like that. And then I can align this below the previous attribute. Kind of cool here. So I click on this, I click OK, and boom, there's type. And I'll do one more. So now I'm tracking the number of the column, the type of column, and I'll do one more thing. I'll go ahead and I'm going to type the length. Like that. The prompt is going to be length with a question mark. And then I'm going to align this too. So, and these can be anything you want them to be. I'm just picking these things. They can be anything. And you could also have different types where you actually are tracking other kinds of data. We're just keeping this real simple for right now. So I'll click OK. And now we have it. Number, type, and length. I'm just going to put that up a little higher so they pretty much look like that. So they work out pretty much aligned pretty well. So now what you need to do is whenever you're going to make whenever you're going to use attributes, typically attributes are going to be associated with some kind of a block. You could actually have them without a block, but it's actually easier to have a block, even if it's just a placeholder. It might be an X, a plus sign, or something else. But for right now, we've got this, and that's what we're going to do. So we're good to go. So I'm going to type in B to make a block. And the name of this, I'm just going to go ahead and call it column with data. So it's something real simple. So you name it. And then I'm going to go over here to specify to pick the point. And the point I want is right here, the very center of this right there. So click on that. I have that. Now I'm going to select my objects. Now I'm going to click on this over here like that. And then what you want to do is you don't want to do that same kind of just selecting via window because you want them to show up in order. So I'm going to go to number and then type and then length. So I want to be prompted in that order. So number, type, and length, and I'll click, press enter. And then it shows up over here. And then what I'm going to do is it looks good. And I'm going to ask AutoCAD to delete it so it disappears so I know it worked. So I'll go over here and I'll go ahead and say OK. And that goes ahead and disappears. Now, one other thing I will show you as long as I'm doing this right now, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to grab this little thing so you guys can see it. Over here, you're going to notice that right here, that's good. All right, and yeah, actually I want this. Okay, so I want this over here. This is what I just created right there. This is a column of data right there. So that's what I just made. So that's what we have there. Okay, so now that I've got that, I'm now going to zoom out and I'm going to go over to here. Now watch how this works. I'm going to go over to this location and pay attention right up to here. So I'm going to go up to there. So I'm going to go up to here and I'm going to choose my column. And bring it over here. Now watch this. I'm going to bring it up to here. And well, before I do this, I'm going to change my layer though. Change my layer up here to A columns. I'll go ahead and drop the first one here. And this one's going to go right here. I'll go ahead and drop it right there. Boom. And I could rotate it if I want to. I'll just go ahead and drop it there. And then I can type in the number. So I'll type in 001. And then the type is going to be W12X87. Okay, that's just kind of a standard number. And the length, I'm going to type in 20 feet just to give myself something to work with. Apologies to structural people who know better than this, but this is just to show how it works. So I'll click on OK. Okay, so I got that. So check out that data. So you see the column, very helpful, but then you see the numbers, you see the data. And you can make these tags disappear, you can make them invisible. That's something we can maybe do later, but right now we're just going to leave them. So I've got that in place. That's the first one. I'm going to drop a few more in here just so I've got some data to track. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Kind of lather, rinse, and repeat. I'll do it again here, drop it right there, like that. And then this one's going to be 002. And then the type's going to be the same, W12X87, like that. Whoop, 87. Boom. The length, I'll make that 20 feet, like that. And I'll hit OK. And there you see that data. All right, so 001, 002, I'll do 003. Go to here, and I'll drop this one just like that. All right, 003. Type, we'll do the same thing. W12, X87, like that. The length, 20 feet. And so you get the idea. So I'm tracking these items. On this one, I'm going to make a little bit different just to give myself a little bit of a variation when I'm tracking it and see how it works. So go to there. And this one's going to be 004. And this one's going to be, we'll make this one W14 X89, like that. The length, this one's going to be 30 feet. So we have that data, and we'll do one more. Over here, I'll drop this, and we'll do this, and make that happen. And this one's going to be 005. And this one will be W14 X89, and the length for this will be 30 feet. So I got that. So click on OK. So now I've got this data. So I've got 5 columns that have been defined, and each one has some data. Each one has its room number, its type, and its length. Now, let's say I want to share this data with somebody else. Let's say I want to share it in an Excel spreadsheet, or maybe in a TXT file, a CSV file, or a Access database. You could do all that. So to do this, we're going to extract the data. So I go to extract the data right here, and I'm going to create a new data extraction. And I'm going to go ahead and go to next. And this just shows up right here, column with data. I've done this before, so I'm going to grab this. I'm going to hit save. Oh, and actually, yeah, I'll save it, and I'll say yes. I'll go and do that. Now this shows up, and you can actually add drawings if you want to. You could have more than one drawing. So you could actually do this. So you could take like a whole series of drawings and actually say, I want you to track all the columns that are in these. You could do that. So I'll go to next. And it crunches out and it gives me this. Now that's all great. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. And I'm going to go ahead and just going to uncheck what I don't want. So I don't want any of these. And I'm going to go up here. And what I do want is I do want column with data. I do want that. And I don't want the rest. So I go here, I go to there. So I got that. I'll get rid of that too. And then I'll go to next. And then this shows up. And I'm just going to uncheck these items here. Don't need these. I'll leave this right here. And I see these. I got length, I got number, I got attribute. And yeah, and so that's what we have right there. And we'll go to next. Okay, and then this shows up. This actually went ahead and crunched it. So I've got that going on here. And I got these different items. You got some different values that are in here. Okay, now so I have that. So it looks great. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to go to next. And then I'm going to output this to an Excel spreadsheet. You could also put this into a table in drawings. So I'm going to output this to an external file. I'm going to go to next. So this goes here, and I'm going to go to finish. And it's going to go ahead, and it went ahead and it created this right here out to the C users, documents, hospital, attributes, practice, Spring Drive, 1XLS. So I went ahead and did that. So I'm going to go look out to the users documents. Okay, so I'm going to go out to here. And it's going to take a second to find that. So I'm going to go out here to my documents and go to my users. And let's see here. See users, documents, hospital. Okay, hospital dash attributes is its name. And should be right up here. Yeah. Okay, yeah, there it is. And I've got it right here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open it up. And so when I open this up, it's going to crunch. And now I see the data that I put in there, okay, which is pretty exciting. So I got this right here. I've actually, you might not be able to see that too well, but it's got count, it's got the column. Right here, if I can do that, if I can grab this, yeah, I think I can here. So column with data, 20 feet, 001, and so forth. So now what's the takeaway? Well, the takeaway is that this could then be used to track this data by a spreadsheet, or it could be tracked actually by actually putting it into a database. So that's what we have happening there. Pretty cool. So that's an Excel spreadsheet. You could actually also create a link to that. But if I wanted to do this one more time, I could actually put in what is known as what I saw before, what I showed you at the beginning. And that is actually how you could actually put a table in your AutoCAD drawing itself. So we'll do one more extraction here and show how to do this. And we'll go ahead and use this one. We'll just go ahead and do this. What the heck? And we'll go ahead and go next. And we'll do this again. And we'll go save, yes. And we'll go to next again and go through the same steps. All right. And I'm going to just get rid of the things I don't want to see. All right. Just going to leave the column with data. All right. So over here and get rid of that and get rid of that. Just going to shoot. actually click on these things and hit next. And here we have this. Now I'm going to uncheck all the different items except for the attributes, which we have right there. So I got these. Okay, so I've got these in place right now. And let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, good. And so we got that going on. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to next. And this goes ahead and crunches. Okay, so we have that. This is the same data we had before. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to next. And I'm going to put this one right into the drawing. Insert data extraction table into drawing. And if you've never done this before, this is what we started with. You saw it, and now we're looking at it now. And enter a title for your table. I'm just going to go ahead and type in columns with data. Why not? All right, we'll do that. And I'll hit next. Let it finish, and then attaches right up to here. And I'll pull this down to here, and I'll drop it just like that. Now look at this. And there's the data as we saw it right there. So the data can either appear in Excel spreadsheet, or the data can appear as you see it right here. So this is extremely valuable. I'm telling you right now, this is powerful. It really is. So we got all that going on right there. So that's the kind of thing that we're able to do with AutoCAD. And that's the kind of thing we can actually make happen right there. So what I'm going to do here is let's go ahead. I'm going to stop the screen share for a second here. And if I can, I don't know if I can or not. So we'll go ahead and we'll leave that alone there, and we'll just drop that out of there. And we'll just go back and we're going to finish this right now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stop the share of that right there. Now it's back to me. Hi. And so now what we're going to do is we're just going to sign off right now. And again, remind you that the drawing that I just used is actually in the comments below. Please check it out and let me know what you find out. Think in terms of like what you could track with this, and ask me, hey, is there something else I could do with this? And I'll bet you the answer is yes. So we can actually take a look at all that. But that's all we have for right now. So we're going to stop right there. Thanks so much for being a subscriber. And again, if you're not a subscriber yet, please subscribe and like, and I appreciate that. So anyway, this is Tom Brennan with Spring Drive CAD. Hope to see you next time. I'll be putting out more content real soon.